Welcome, everybody, to the Crawford County, Illinois Ghost Hunters Society live talk show, episode number 4. We have got a lot to talk about tonight. I am on a solo mission tonight. Jason Dickerson was going to co-host, but he is out of the area. So it is just me tonight. So I thought I'd do something a little different tonight and talk with all you guys and kind of do a meet the fans night. So we can, we're going to even open up the call-up number here. Let you guys call in and kind of introduce yourselves. You know, you guys see us on these live feeds all the time, our investigations out there. So we're doing something a little different tonight. And hopefully, it'll work out well. But welcome again, guys, to the Crawford County, Illinois Ghost Hunters Society live talk show, episode number 4. You can visit our website at crawfordcountyghosthunters.org. If you want to send us an email us at illinoishauntings@gmail.com. We're always interested in hearing your guys' stories. If anything, if you guys have any places you want investigated, again, please email us or contact us by Facebook. We will try to respond to everything as quick as possible. Again, we've been backed up big time lately due to the COVID-19 and us not being able to investigate houses and places like that due to people not wanting us, in their homes during this quarantine. So check out our email. Obviously, if you're watching this, you're on Facebook. So check out Facebook at crawfordcountyghosthunters.com. I guess we are dual streaming to YouTube also. If you are on a YouTube channel, again, we are only monitoring questions and comments from our Facebook page here. So definitely, if you're on YouTube and you want to get your comment read or you want us to answer a question, definitely switch over to Facebook. We will try to answer everything as quick as possible. Excuse me. Our Instagram, check it out. It's Instagram /Crawford County Ghost Hunters. And again, I would like to thank the Midnight Syndicate for letting us use their music tonight. We use that for all our music on our intros and our live investigations that we conduct while we're out. So I'd like to give them a special thanks. They give us permission to use that. MidnightSyndicate.com. Go give them a like and subscribe. They have YouTube. They're on YouTube. They're on Spotify. And they've got a website, so definitely check their music out. They're pretty cool. But welcome again, everybody, tonight. We've got a pretty good show. I want to start out talking about some of our investigations we've done recently. I know we had a lot of questions during our last show about an investigation we done called the Undisclosed Death Investigation that we conducted over in Sullivan County, Indiana. And I kind of want to discuss that a little bit because we had a lot of interest in that. A lot of people talking about it. Says my face is a little blurry. Jen says, well, I'm trying to work this out. It's crazy too. Like every time we start to do one of these live shows, like the last 2 weekends, we've had a bad storm roll through. So I apologize again if our audio and our video is a little messed up or scrambled. I tried to get it up the best we can here, but we did have another storm roll through earlier, and it really affects our internet access out here. I'm in the middle of nowhere. So, but the investigation we conducted at the undisclosed death location, we found out a lot more information since then. These 2 individuals drove their car off into what was like a lake or small, lagoon, they call it. But we have found a lot of information since we originally investigated that. People have contacted us. We had no idea, what we were investigating at the time. We were just kind of drew to that location. If you guys go back and watch that live feed, it's the undisclosed death location. And we're going to go back, I think, and investigate that. We've also been asked to investigate a secondary murder site in the Sullivan County area where a female got murdered. So we are going to also be investigating that, looking into that, and checking out those scenes. And it's pretty cool because, as paranormal investigators, we've done a lot of almost crime scene investigations. Yeah, we take a scientific approach to investigating the paranormal. I don't know what they said. I was reading the comments, sorry guys. But we take a scientific approach to investigating the paranormal, and not only do we scientifically investigate a location. I mean, sometimes we forensically investigate a location where we look at it like a crime scene, because a lot of these old places that we go into, a lot of these investigations that we take on or we actually conduct in these old houses are murder sites, and we're trying to be detectives, and solve a who knows how old crime, sometimes over 100-year-old crime that took place in some of these buildings, some of these houses, and so we become almost like paranormal detectives in a sort of a sense, because we're looking for any type of evidence, that, and we've got to go through historical research and evidence to try to figure out, what happened to these people. And sometimes we run onto these crime scenes by accident and start investigating. We get stuff through our ghost box, through our recorder, through electronic voice phenomena, intelligent communication, indicating that these people are trying to communicate with us and they need help. Maybe they don't know who murdered, or the general public doesn't know who murdered them. They do, and they're trying to get that out. So we've done a lot of weird stuff when it comes to forensic investigations and actually investigating locations that have like murder sites, that could have paranormal activity linked to them because of the murder being unsolved. We investigated a house up in Evansville, Indiana, and there was still blood on the walls. There was just numbers, excuse me, where they had numbered the walls, when we were there. And it was pretty crazy, to still see how fresh the crime scene was when we got called in there to investigate that location, and it's like, it's pretty eerie, it gives you a sense of like, this is real type of thing, when you're looking at it. You actually get in there and you can see what happened and how recent that it happened. But this old lady had been stabbed to death. I can't go into too many details because it's still an undisclosed kind of case and location. But we went in and investigated. We tried to get names to the murderer, who murdered her, what happened. And we actually did come up with several things that were pretty revealing. So it's always cool to find new places like that, be called into new places that actually have a meaning to our investigations, or we can help somebody out, help somebody maybe learn what happened to their loved one, because a lot of times there's unanswered questions as to why a person died, how they died, under mysterious circumstances. So I'd like to thank all you guys for watching, looking through to see everybody that's out there. We got Chris Braxton on here, Laura, Jen. Looks like we got a lot of people. And Pete, I see you're watching out there, and I apologize. You've been trying to get a hold of us by phone, I think, about an investigation. So we're going to open up the phone lines here after a while. I'm going to put the phone number down after I get done talking here and do some reviews, and we're going to talk about some equipment too. But I'm going to open up the phone lines for you guys to call in. So this is, like I say, kind of a meet the fan night here later. It'll probably be hour 2, because I'll blab and talk for probably an hour here. But we will have you guys, we'll open the phone lines up so you guys can call in. We want to hear your stories and why you're into the paranormal. So it's going to be a cool night. But let's see here. Get some equipment here real quick. Okay. Sorry, I had to grab my equipment. But first thing I want to talk about tonight, we're going to start doing equipment reviews on here. So, we're going to review some equipment, some good reviews, some bad reviews. And right now we're going to talk about these little items right here. These are called, kind of hard to put it in the camera there, non-contact laser thermometers or non-contact thermometers. You guys are probably seeing these used a lot now. Some people are using these things to check temperature with this whole quarantine and outbreak thing. They're not very accurate for that. Trust me, they are not good at all. At least these models aren't. They may have better medical models, but these things are not good. You see what I am here. It says I'm 91. It's not very hot. But anyway, that's probably not my actual temperature. So don't rely on these things. If you got one for paranormal investigating, to check your temperature, because they are not accurate at all for that. But anyway, this is called a non-contact laser thermometer. And the thing is, people are using these, groups are using these to investigate paranormal activity. They are, they're using these things in the wrong way. These do have a place in paranormal research, but not the way, people are using them. I mean, people are going around, they have a laser. You guys can probably see that in the camera there. I'm trying to hit the camera with the laser. But anywhere basically that this laser touches here, it's hard to do with the camera, but I've got it on my hand right there. So that laser is basically measuring the point of my hand where it's making contact. And it's sending out an infrared beam. It's bouncing off my hand and it's registered into this device. Some more here. This is another version. Right here, just a little different variation of it. Another non-contact laser thermometer. And this is, you can change the different settings on this one. It can actually record a couple settings. If you want to save like your last measurement, it'll record that. But the problem with these meters are these devices, people are using these to find ghosts. They weren't designed to find ghosts. They're the whole theory behind cold spots and stuff is an energy and physics type thing. Ghosts and spirits, sometimes people report cold spots. And the reason why I wanted to go into this is, if you guys watched our investigation last night at the old football field in Lawrenceville, we had some cold spots going on there, some unexplained cold spots. Like, we actually got hit with a cold blast. I know I'm kind of getting off subject from this thermal scanner thing, but I'll get back to it. We had some cold blasts and come at us that just were really weird. But we want to measure ambient temperature. We don't want to use these, because what this does is this is measuring surface temperature of objects. It bounces that beam back, reflects it off of the object into this device, and gives you your reading. And that's the whole thing where people are getting a misconception about this device, and teams are using these to find things that they think are in between my hand and this device. They think, well, if there's a ghost, or what they call a spirit orb, which is dust particles, is in between my hand and this device, and it bounces off of that, it's going to measure that temperature as a cold spot, bounce it back into this device. Problem is, we've done a lot of research over the years and a lot of debunking into these meters, or these pieces of equipment, to show that that doesn't work, because the object definitely has to have some sort of a mass to show up and read into this thermal scanner. So, if there was a mass, an object between this thermal scanner and my hand right now, which kind of looks like my head on this video, so imagine my head being the mass between there, it's going to bounce back the temperature of my head. But since a ghost or spirit, we obviously know a ghost or spirit doesn't have a lot of mass. Since you can't see them, you can't touch them, and people think, well, we're picking up ghosts in between a wall. Well, that's not how they work. You're picking up the wall, the temperature of the wall, not a ghost or spirit that's in between there, because a ghost or spirit doesn't have mass. But people think they are picking up invisible ghosts or spirits between, this and the wall, and it's not working. It's not happening, guys. Sorry. We did an educational video on this where we talk about just temperature anomalies and temperature variations in paranormal research. Me and Jason Dickerson did a video that we're going to be putting out soon. It's going to be posted up on Facebook and YouTube, so you guys can watch that. And we actually go through the process of debunking this piece of equipment. Now, I'm not saying it can't be used for paranormal research. Surface temperatures are important sometimes in paranormal investigating, because if something touches an object or touches a chair or anything, it could actually, in theory, cause that object to become colder or warmer. But you're measuring the surface temperature only. You're not measuring that ghost in between this and that surface object. And that's where people get confused with this. They think they're picking up some type of spirit orb, which again, we're going to get into all the spirit orb stuff too, and the educational parts of these videos or these talk shows. Most spirit orb, 98% of orbs are dust particles, pollen in the atmosphere, rain, moisture, you name it, that it's not a ghost or spirit causing orbs to show up on your photographic, evidence that you capture on paranormal investigations if you're an investigator out there. But I'm going to look at some questions here. Jen said it'll go straight through my head. That may be true. This thing might shine through my head and going out the other side, but good point, Jen. But Pete, yeah, we're going to get to you here in a minute about your investigations you've got going on. But yeah, tonight, like I say, we're going to talk about some other stuff too. If I can find it all. There have been people asking us about our team, our paranormal research team and how to join, if they can join. So I want to talk a little bit about that and address that too before we go into opening the lines up and we hearing your guys' stories and talking to you guys tonight. But our paranormal research team works, like I say, we take a scientific approach. We'll investigate any location that has the presence of paranormal activity or might have the presence of paranormal activity. If you think it's haunted, we'll investigate it. We like to take cases that have had, like multiple reports of paranormal activity. That's, somebody moved into the house, they seen something, they moved out. Another person moved in the house, they seen something, they moved out. I mean, those are cool cases, where we have verification from two different sets of clients. But, we like to have evidence on more than one piece of equipment. Obviously this has its place, but it's used improperly, but let's say we get a surface temperature drop of like 30 degrees on this thing on a wall, and we get some type of unexplainable anomaly on our video and an EMF hit of like 7.0 all at the same time. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for multiple pieces of evidence and multiple, pieces of equipment. So we can say, hey, that could be a ghost or spirit causing that atmospheric, change or environmental change. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for changes in the environment that these ghosts or spirits can actually manipulate or cause, and that's paranormal in itself. We're looking for environmental and atmospheric changes due to some type of haunting phenomena or paranormal phenomena in a house. And that's what we're trying to document. We try to document anything to lead us to proof of life after death or any type of strange occurrence that we can't currently explain with modern day science. So, and that's our whole goal. We try to document and record this. That's why we don't use Ouija boards. We don't use psychics on our investigations, even though some of our team members may or may not have abilities. We do not rely on those abilities or use those abilities as evidence toward any type of paranormal activity that we encounter. And, it's like some of these teams that just use psychics, I can say, hey, your grandma is talking to me right now, but you can't see that. I want something you can see or hear. And that's what we base our evidence off of. We base it off of something you guys can see and hear also, evidence coming across, intelligent communication coming across any type of ITC device, ghost box, recorder, or anything we might use to try to communicate with the ghosts or spirits. So, but, we try to debunk everything we can. We try to come up with natural explanations for everything we can before we say it's a ghost. We don't go in there looking for a ghost. We go in there looking for a natural explanation. We let the location, the house and place explain its, kind of show itself to us so we can sit back and kind of say, hey, what was that? Then we'll go try to debunk it. We'll try to figure out if it was a natural cause. And there are a lot of natural explanations for things. People settling into new houses and just everything goes bump in the night. They're scared. Coons in the attic, electrical problems, mice running across your pans in your kitchen. I don't know how many people, we don't have mice. And we play the video back and we show them all the mice running across their pans in the middle of the night. And then they want to move out because of that. But 90% of the time we do find a natural explanation for what people are experiencing. And there's more haunted people than there are haunted houses, unfortunately. But we are going to try to, we're kind of looking for new team members too. And that's kind of why I'm on here talking about this too. I just wanted to explain to you guys like how we operate though, because we are very selective in who we let into our group and who we let on our investigation team. We don't have just an open member policy where anybody can join, even though we're the Crawford County, Illinois Ghost Hunter Society. We are more like a special investigation team of investigators, and we only operate in a team of like 7 to 14. So, if we get called into, like 14 people is all we have in our member list, but we only go into a location with 7 tops because you can't investigate any house or any location with more than 7, in my opinion, and set up a controlled environment. And we take a scientific approach to this. So, the controlled environment is why we try to set that up. We want to control, we want to know where people are. Accountability is everything. If you have 10, 12 people running around a building, especially a small building, you can't do anything. You can't get good EVP. You don't know where everybody's at. But you got to set up a controlled environment, have accountability as to where everybody's at. They're either at the command station watching the video or they're doing their job somewhere else. So anytime you get a team of over 7, you're running into problems with accountability and actually taking a scientific approach to investigating, especially in a big or a small building. Now, big buildings, you get 7 is perfect for a big building. When we're in like a small house, even sometimes we don't even use 7. We'll use like 4. 4 people. 1 watching the monitor, a couple out doing an EVP session. But 7 is perfect for even a big building. You can have 1 person at the monitor and 2 teams of 3 out investigating. And that's what we like to do. If we got a big building like a prison or a penitentiary that we're investigating, somebody's always watching that monitor and somebody's out there doing something or investigating. But I just want to, I see a lot of these teams are trying to get hundreds of members, and we started out doing that. And I think, looking at the comments here, I think, it was bad. Back in the day, I had close to 200 members in the Crawford County, Illinois Ghost Hunter Society at one time. And we had a big member list, and it was just horrible trying to keep track of stuff because we had T-shirts and everybody had a T-shirt, and I can't keep track of 200 people going out on the weekends in cemeteries, and that's accountability. And if they do something, then it comes back on us. So that's why, if you guys ever wonder why we're real selective and we operate in a small team, that's why. It's all about the control, of the environment that we're investigating. We want to take a scientific approach and not have 20, people running around like, crazy people out in an investigation. It just doesn't work out. We have a large number. So we keep it small, but we are currently looking for team members. Like I say, we're very selective in this process. And I think we're probably going to look at getting 2 right now, 2 different team members. So if you guys want to send us an email regarding that, please do so. We highly recommend you not be a smoker. We prefer non-smokers. We also will do criminal background checks. If you've had any felonies or anything like that, we also won't accept you. And you must be willing to stay out late hours, be up, and go with us, as much as possible. I know a lot of people have lives, so life gets in the way. But if anybody out there is interested in joining our team, we are looking for a couple members right now. But I will, like I said, I'm warning you, we're very selective about the process and who we even call back or interview. So, but looking at the comments, looks like Doit and Jen are on here, Joe. But thank you guys for tuning in. Laura said she's perfectly fine sitting there watching. Yeah, if you guys out there just like watching us, that's good too. But if you do know somebody that's interested in joining us, definitely give us a buzz. But I'm going to open up the phone lines here. Luke Massey says, I'm in. Yeah, get a hold of us, Luke. Send us a message. We can talk, interview you. But I'm going to try to get the phone number up here, guys. All right. I'm going to put the phone number up here, and I'm going to scroll it across the bottom of the screen. But it's going to be a minute here before I will take any calls. That is going to be the call-in number for tonight. And it'll continue to scroll across the bottom the whole night here. So setting my stuff up here so I can get the call-ins that come through. Yeah, I hope you guys will call in. Tell us your stories. Tell us, what got you interested in the paranormal. Why you guys, watch us. I mean, it'll be pretty cool to hear, you guys talking here. Okay. Call-in line should be open. So if anybody out there wants to go ahead and call, we will definitely take your calls. If not, I will continue talking about stuff. But go ahead and call if you want. We want to hear your stories. Where you're from, any type of paranormal activity or experiences you've had in your lifetime. That'd be cool too. If you guys want to call in, tell us that. That way we can talk about that, and especially some of the guys that watch our show night in and night out. It'd be cool, hear from you guys. Why do you want to? Why are you interested in the paranormal in the first place? I mean, obviously, if you're watching this show, you probably believe somewhat in some type of paranormal activity or ghosts, I would assume, or you're skeptical. Some people are skeptical, and that's good too. It's good, and that's what we look for in team members. Also, is I don't like the people that are, oh my God, that's a ghost. I like people that are very skeptical and say, that may or may not be a ghost, and try to debunk that. The people who are gung-ho, they jump at every little noise, they run out of buildings. We don't want those people. We want the people that's going to stand there and try to figure out what's going on, even though there's been several times I have ran. I'm not going to lie. I don't run as much as I used to, but back in the day when we were first starting, we had some crazy stuff go on. But I've seen so much now that we just stay there and investigate. But we definitely want to look for calm people, who are going to confront the occurrence or the activity they're experiencing and try to debunk it with a logical mindset, not just flip out that it's a ghost and go running. And that's what you see with a lot of these teams nowadays. You see these teams going in, they're just doing it for the scare factor. They're in there to scare themselves. Everything's evil. Everything's demonic. Oh, we got a demon. Let's get the heck out of here. It's like they're getting possessed. I mean, they turn everything into demons and everything's demonic, and just not that way. It's like they're just people without bodies. And I've never encountered any demonic or evil activity in my over 20 years of doing this. And I have tried to put myself in the most evil, haunted locations you can imagine. And never once have I, came across what I would consider to be a demon or even I don't know. I've seen some things that are probably on the dark side, but I wouldn't call them a demon. I would just say it was people are evil. People commit murder, people kill people. That's evil in itself. So you get an individual who's passed away that killed people, murdered people, and was just evil in life. Sure, their spirit's going to be a darker spirit and evil. I wouldn't say demonic. Because like I say, when I think demonic, I'm thinking of something not human. I'm thinking of something like from somewhere else, and we've never had any proof or any evidence of any demonic or evil spirit that is not a human soul. If that makes sense. So I mean, so we try to look for people too, that aren't flipping out and with this whole demon craze, because that's just TV stuff, TV nonsense. But I got the lines open. I think you guys are shy or something. And I'm not monitoring the comments right now because I'm waiting for call-ins. So if anybody wants to call in, feel free. That guy, I think your name was Pete, maybe. Let me look here. We had a guy said he was interested in us investigating the location. If you want to call in live here and tell us what you got going on, definitely do that. We'll talk about it live on the air here if you want. It'll be pretty cool to hear, you kind of. Yeah, I can't monitor that and have a call in, so try to see who that guy was. Are you still on here? You told us you had a location you wanted us to investigate. Try to get this guy's name real quick. And I'll be able to get it on here. But yeah, I want to hear you guys' stories. If you want to call in, let me know, let's see. I'm going to go back to monitoring questions here in a minute. I think everybody's not wanting to call in. Let's see. Is anybody trying to call in? There's somebody. Hold on just a second. Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at comments here. Scott Long says, come on, Jason, let me go on an adventure with you. And we do take people. Scott's saying, that he's wanting to go with us. I'm not saying we don't take people out. We're all for taking people out on investigations. And that's how I found a lot of my team members. If we find somebody that's really cool. Okay, Pete just messaged you. I'd prefer to call you personally. Yeah, that's okay, Pete, definitely. After this, I'll try to get a hold of you, or tomorrow I'll try to call you. Pete's got some paranormal activity he's experiencing. So, yep, here we got a call. So, let's see who this is. Hello, welcome to the Crawford County Ghost Hunters. This is Jason.
Hi, Jason. It's Jen.
Hey, Jen, what's up?
A lot of things.
Yeah, I'm glad you called. I was starting to think nobody could hear me out there.
Hey, we're here. We laugh. We're renaming your show now. It is no longer the Jason Snyder Show. It is now the Dwight and Jen Show.
Awesome. That sounds good to me. So what are you guys up to tonight?
Can I interview you?
Sure.
Okay. Tell us all, I should say, some of the crazy things that went on when you first started that really flipped you out.
That really flipped me out?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, back when you first start, when I first started doing paranormal investigating, you were, a lot of things scared you, a lot of things scared me, it's like I would go to these locations. Sometimes I'd investigate by myself, when I first started. I started doing this when I was like 16 years old. Since I got my driver's license, I started going around to all these places that had rumors of hauntings, or places that were reported to be haunted, or even have like your folklore type stuff too, and your local legends like crybaby bridges, which are located about every county, it seems like. But I started investigating claims of paranormal activity all around the area where people, had experiences. And some of the stuff that, originally flipped me out, was because I started out going by myself. I had to find a group of people who would go with me eventually. But I was out in a couple cemeteries and I heard unexplained screams that I couldn't, I couldn't debunk. And there's still a couple of them looking back on it. I still don't think even today, knowing what I know, I could have debunked them today. Because, they were screams. Like just out and out people screaming, And I've listened to every animal sound I can get a hold of online, and going out in nature, I try to listen to what foxes sound like, because a fox will sound like a woman screaming. An owl can sound like a woman screaming. I've tried to listen to every nature sound possible to try to debunk some of the screams and paranormal phenomena associated with scream-like activity people experience. And I've been able to debunk a lot of it, but there are times I can remember back when I first started that I still probably couldn't be able to debunk some of those events that I experienced. And but some of the things, one of the places that really sticks out in my mind was the Fife Opera House in Palestine, Illinois. We were investigating that location.
Oh yeah,
that place is pretty cool. I'm sure you've been there, probably, haven't you, Jen? Have you ever been in there?
Oh, many times, and I was at a catered dinner there many times. But this one particular catered dinner, I asked where the ladies' room was at, and they said, "Well, it's back there. The light is on. You may want to leave the door open, though."
Yeah.
And when I came out of the ladies' room, all the caterers were gone.
Oh,
they could not get out of that place fast enough.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that place is creepy. A guy actually committed suicide in the building, and he shot himself in there. One of the Fifes did.
I went on one of your tours.
I think I remember that. Yeah, we done a lot of haunted.
Yeah, we went down by the river first, and where the fighting took place, and
okay,
we could still hear the screams of the soldiers.
Yes, yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say soldiers. I should say they were fighting for the territory at that time.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, we conducted haunted tours in there for years. You know, I don't even know how many investigations. I had a key to that location, and I conducted haunted tours. Preservation Society was cool at that time, and you know, we did a lot of investigations in there and brought a lot of money into the Fife Opera House to help restore it. And then you know, now they don't want it known for the paranormal activity. They've got some new board members in there and everything, so they don't want any haunted tours and stuff in the Opera House. But maybe someday they'll change their mind about that, because it's like a part of our local history. You know, history and hauntings are a big thing right now. And it's like, you know, if you got a location that's, you know, you can bring people into, you know, that's haunted, I mean, that's a big tourist attraction. But one of the things I seen in there, you know, I was up in the Fife Opera House. This was the night we had a TV crew filming this for like some type of Halloween documentary or special. They were putting on, like, I think it was a local news channel. But anyway, it was always after everybody quits rolling. They quit rolling their cameras, and they seen it too. There was a set of sliding doors that went into a little room in there that we called the lounge room. And those sliding doors just went and just shut as soon as we quit rolling the cameras. I mean, slammed shut. It wasn't like, you know, it just accidentally shut. I mean, these things slammed shut with force. I thought they were going to break. And another event that took place in there, a buddy of mine, Ricky, he was on my team at the time. We were upstairs, and we both seen this. We looked up, and we saw what looked like a full-body apparition walk through the hallway. We were in the auditorium part filming, and we looked toward the back part, which is there's a hallway where it's pretty neat. There's a wall in there that's made out of casket wood. Like they took the old casket material from the crates they would get from the caskets, because they used the top part of the Opera House as David Fife was an embalmer. You know, he embalmed people in there. So they used that top part as like a funeral, you know, display room for a while. And there was a kid's casket in there, but part of the wall is actually made with casket wood, and people still don't know that, you know. But that hallway is where we saw the apparition go through, and both of us seen it at the same time. And he ran, my buddy and Rick, he ran out of there as fast as he could. So that was a pretty weird event that kind of sticks out in my mind. Another one it was Halloween night. We were investigating an old funeral home in West Union, Illinois, and we were in this funeral home. And one of my team members at the time, I think it was TJ Swanner, he was in there with me, and we heard scratching. Again, I don't believe in demonic or evil stuff, you know, even though I've experienced stuff like that. Some people call it dark. I call it just a ghost that's mad or something. But anyway, we heard scratching. We heard stuff flying around upstairs, like boxes, like flying around, hitting stuff. It sounded like glass breaking. I ran upstairs to see what this was, because there was nobody else in the house but me and TJ at the time. So I run upstairs thinking somebody hid in the closet, and I was going to see stuff laying everywhere, and when I get up there, absolutely nothing, like nothing out of place. There's nothing, nothing broke. The box, everything's just in perfect condition, and nothing's been moved. That's one event I cannot explain either. I know what I heard, but when I went up there, it was just like nothing happened. So I can't explain that. That one kind of got to me, but it's kind of like weird. But there's been so many things over the years that's happened that I've seen and heard that I couldn't debunk. I mean, I've tried to debunk everything. I try to go back and look at the things that I thought were paranormal and try to debunk them, and some of them I still can't. But
I went on the Palestine tour with you. I went on the Spook House on North Jefferson.
Mm-hmm.
I was with you this past October. By the way, put me down for the October tour.
Okay, will do.
And last night you were talking about hitting a ghost with your car.
That wasn't me. One of my team.
Yeah. Okay, that was. Yeah.
Well,
I've done that.
Oh, really? Yeah, I was gonna say, I didn't hit it, but
go up to West Union to the Silver Moon.
Yeah.
Remember the old Silver Moonfish place? Okay. Just as you're going right past there was a woman and a boy walking down the road, and she went right through my passenger window rear view mirror. I shouldn't say rear view, my passenger window mirror.
Yeah.
I worked in an office that was haunted.
Really? Yeah.
Yes, I cannot tell the name, of course.
Right.
It's no longer an office, it's now an apartment building, but they'd stomp around upstairs and rattle the ice in the ice maker and open all the cabinet doors and shut them.
Right.
They would even come downstairs into the office. One day they were looking over my shoulder. I was doing the books and trying to balance them, and it wasn't coming out right. And I turned around and yelled at them, "Leave me alone."
Yeah. Did it work?
Which was not the best idea. Yes, they did.
Sometimes that doesn't work.
I've had books thrown at me at the bowling alley.
Yeah, the bowling alley had a lot of weird
stuff. Come flying off the shelf.
Yeah. At the
yeah.
Robinson Bowling Alley?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we investigated that place several times, and we got some pretty good activity. Back behind the pins, we picked up some pretty weird stuff.
Yeah. You might want to explain also sometime about the cloud of dust that people might often see. I spoke with my neighbor, my deceased neighbor, and she was in the great cloud of dust rolling across the backyard. I flew the window open and I called her by name, and I said, "Is that you?" And I got a yes, and we had a conversation.
Yeah.
Tell us, if you can. You may not be able to speak of this at this time, and most of us at SALT will understand. Widow's Week.
Yes.
Are you going to get to go back? Is the owner actually going to hold up what he said and will let you back in?
That is a whole show of its own, Jen. Yeah. So, she's talking about Willow's Week, guys. If you haven't seen that investigation we done, it was in Cayuga, Indiana. I believe is how you pronounce that. But, it's supposed to be the most evil and haunted house in North America. And we went in and investigated this location. And within 10 minutes, we pretty much, I'm not trying to sound like we're the best team or we're the best paranormal investigators in the world or anything like that. But within 10 minutes, we pretty much debunked everything that a lot of the other people that went in there have experienced and reported as paranormal activity. And I truly think the house is a bunch of hype. And to answer your question, yes, we are going back to investigate that location. And Dave Spinks, he's the one that owns it right now currently. He's supposed to bring us back in, and he's supposed to let us in on the blood test that's going to be done. Another blood test that's going to be done to see if it's actual blood on the chair. And we already know the answer to that, but he's going to have us come back and do a blood test, and he wants to put it, I don't know if he's wanting to document it or record it for the History Channel or some type of documentary or what he's wanting to do with it yet. But we are going back, yeah. And I mean, Dave, I think he's been really busy lately. But I'm not saying the house isn't haunted. I'm not saying weird stuff doesn't happen there. But we debunked a lot of the weird stuff that happens there, if that makes sense. It's like, I think, the house has had one suicide in it. We did document that for sure and find out that there is one suicide that's taken place in Willow's Weep. And that's the only confirmed death that we can say happened there, because that's all we could find in historical record. I'm sure there may have been other deaths, but does that make it the most evil haunted house in the world? No, it doesn't. I've investigated hundreds of locations where suicides have taken place, and a lot of them do have paranormal activity. So I'm not saying, it doesn't have activity, but it's not the most evil haunted house in North America. I will say that. I mean, you can't make claims to that. Who can, that's, hey, I want some money, come visit my location. You can't say your house is the most evil haunted house in North America.
You're right. Got two more things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you also, when you say paranormal, most people just think of ghosts, spirits, the deceased. But you actually also will investigate anything. Paranormal means, it's not normal, whatever normal is. You also do aliens.
Yes.
You also do Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do like the little people or the trolls under the bridge, that sort of thing?
Yeah, we are paranormal investigators, and we will investigate anything that we believe to be logical paranormal occurrences that, just aren't way out there. Yeah, we do investigate, UFOs, alien abduction, close encounters of the first, second, and third kind, that type of stuff. Bigfoot and crypto encounters, where there's unknown animals or monsters that could be roaming around out there, whether it be Sasquatch, Bigfoot, Chupacabra, whatever you want to call us in for that you believe is some type of cryptid type creature. But yeah, we've investigated all kinds of stuff. Even the mysterious, some people around here report seeing Black Panthers. And that's a big phenomenon in our area. I seen a Black Panther. Well, a Black Panther isn't native. That's not a cougar or mountain lion. That's a Black Panther. They're not native to this area. Where a cougar or mountain lion sighting, we get those a lot of times. They're not supposed to be in the area. Well, that's probably one just roaming through. But a black one is what we look for. That's more along the lines of why are Black Panthers seen in this area. And a lot of times they're associated with paranormal activity. Like if somebody sees one, something bad happens. But
you need to talk to Doyd about the panther. It's been up in his cornfield.
Really? Yeah. See, people see them all the time.
Yeah.
It's weird.
We may have to go have a party at his house one night. Next on the list, please remind everyone of the dates that you will be gone on your tours or should I say investigations, and when you will be going live during that time. Okay.
First, going back real quick to the trolls and the gnomes and that sort of thing, real quick, because I didn't really answer that part of it. I actually did get a call about a guy that seen what he believed to be a little person or a gnome in the woods by Palestine. And I went over and investigated that. And this guy was pretty legit. I mean, I know this guy. I've known him for a long time. He's not one guy to just blow and say, hey, I seen this and just try to, hoax it. So I kind of took him seriously, like what did he see? I think he's seen something. I don't believe he's seen a troll or a gnome, but I believe he's seen something. So we went over and investigated it. But as far as the gnome, the troll, and the little people, like the fairies, all that, we don't get into that a whole lot just because, like, you've got to have extraordinary evidence to claim something like that. It's like there's no evidence of those existing. I mean, as it's paranormal, so we will investigate it if we think it's appealing. But it's like we like to have some type of evidence that points toward somewhat of it being legit or real, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And the little person thing kind of goes out there on my, I don't know about this radar. But
well, if we have Bigfoot, we can have little people.
I guess, yeah, I know. I see what you say. That's what we've had discussions about too. Because me and Dickerson are like, well, I mean, if you got Bigfoot, I mean, why can't you have a leprechaun? So it's like, I can see Bigfoot as being an undiscovered creature, that's been out there hiding. Where a leprechaun's more along the lines of like a mythological thing that interdimensional thing that may or may not exist. But they say Bigfoot could be interdimensional too, because people see it and then it's gone. So who knows? I mean, I may be wrong. There may be leprechauns, trolls, and fairies out there right now. But yeah, go ahead and answer your next question about the tours or the places we're investigating. Is that what you asked?
Yes, the trips that you were taking out of the state.
Yeah, we're going to, actually, I am leaving, I think it's June 4th, for Tennessee. And I'm going to be, me and Dale Kazmarek from the Ghost Research Society and some of his team members. I don't know if any of my other team members are coming or not. We'll see, but it may just be me going with them. But we're going to go to Tennessee and we're going to be investigating the penitentiary there, the Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary in Tennessee, and the old South Pittsburgh Hospital. So we're going to be investigating 2 locations there in Tennessee and the battlefields there in Tennessee. We're going to be investigating those 2. And yeah, we will be going live probably the 4th, 5th, and 6th of June. We'll be investigating. We'll be doing live feeds from those locations.
Cool.
And then
all of us will be waiting.
Oh yeah, it's going to be cool. Then when we get back, hopefully we have the Limp Mansion. I just talked with Betsy the other day at the Limp Mansion, and due to the COVID, they were kind of restricting stuff. But we're going to be back on our normal schedule. I think we're going to be able to investigate the Limp Mansion in St. Louis, Missouri toward the end of June. So we're going to be there doing paranormal investigations. And then in July 25th, we've got the Ashmore States. So that's going to be a pretty cool one. I've been there a couple times previous and not found a whole lot, but we're going to go back and see what we can find. And then try to think in August, that's going to be cool too. August, we're traveling to Pennsylvania to investigate the battlefields at Gettysburg. So that's going to be pretty awesome too, and I've never investigated those locations out there. So that's going to be new for me. So that's going to be pretty neat.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, believe it or not, for now, I am out of questions.
You're out of questions?
And thank you. Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
Me out of questions?
That's paranormal.
Thank you so much for letting me interview you.
Yeah, no problem. It was fun. Thank you for calling in.
Thanks. You've got somebody on the viewers tonight, and it sounds like this person needs help. Maybe they'll call in next. Yeah,
I talked with him. He's the one that's going to call me personally, I think. He's having some issues with some type of paranormal activity. So, yeah, I'm going to call him when I get off this live feed and see what's going on there.
Okay, great.
So,
well, then anybody else can call in because I wanted to tell you thank you and have a great evening. I know I am. And good night. Yeah,
thank you, Jen. Thanks for calling in. I appreciate you guys watching us night after night. Thanks for calling.
Thanks.
Talk to you later. Bye. All right, guys, awesome. Had our first caller there. Definitely, the lines are open. If anybody else wants to call in now, it's 1-312-572-9811. If you have any questions for us, if you'd like us to answer a question, maybe it's regarding paranormal activity, something you've experienced, or just tell us, why you're interested in the paranormal, definitely call in and tell us about that. But yeah, Jen hit on a lot of cool topics there that, a lot of people want to know about. And yeah, they're talking about the Ashmore States here. Lori said, I can't wait for the Ashmore States. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've been to the Ashmore States. When I investigated it, it wasn't all the hype. And there was there's a little crazy event that happened at the Ashmore States, and I don't know if I should talk about it on the air, but maybe I will. When I first investigated the Ashmore States back in the day, there was no, they weren't charging people to go in. It was they're abandoned. We went in. This has been a long time ago. I mean, close to 20 probably years ago. But anyway, we went in and done an investigation. We didn't find a whole lot, but there's been a couple owners, over the years. I personally, the new owner, I don't know that well, but we are going to talk with him. We actually, during our documentary, Joe, I think, interviewed the owner of the Ashmore States for our documentary we're doing on Betsy Reed. But we are going to go back on the 25th. But there was an event that took place at Ashmore that I still just can't get over, and it just makes me mad to this day that about what happened and how they portrayed this event that took place at the Ashmore States, and it was all publicity hype and publicity stunt, and that's why I've kind of stayed away from the Ashmore States over the years just because of some of the things that took place. But I was actually asked to participate in an event that was going on there years ago called the Ashmore Experiment. And what this was they were going to take Channel 10 News into the Ashmore Estates and film this live Halloween deal, where Kevin Orpert and the news people were there, and they were going to call it the Ashmore Estates. Well, me and another guy were doing a radio show. I'm not going to mention a bunch of names on here. Probably shouldn't. I probably already said too many names, but this radio show, we were doing, they asked us to come and investigate this place. So I didn't end up going. We had an investigation too, because it seems like it was on close to Halloween. I went to another location down south to investigate because the radio crew was coming up for that. I thought it was a more legit location because I've been to the Ashmore States several times and didn't find anything. So I went down south to another poor farm, which I call the sister to the Ashmore States that not many people know about, and it's south of here. That's all I'm going to say. We were doing an investigation in there. We had a radio crew with us. It was 92.9 out of Only, and we were down there while my, I guess you'd say, partner went up to the Ashmore States and done that one in this Ashmore Experiment. I don't know if you can still find it on YouTube or find it on their site, but anyway, the main news guy on Channel 10 was knocked to the ground by a ghost. And that is not what happened. Then Ghost Adventures came in, Zach Bagans came in, and they interviewed him. He said he was knocked to the ground by a ghost, paranormal activity, all this. It was all a bunch of bull. He was not knocked to the ground by a ghost. He had an incident in there. That's all I'm going to say. The news guy had an incident in the Ashmore States that was not related to paranormal activity whatsoever. And I am just glad to say I was not there and not involved in that. So I would have definitely had some problems with what went on in there, especially the line about the news guy getting knocked down in the Ashmore States and then Ghost Adventures coming in and saying that it was all paranormal. And he told Zach that it was all paranormal when it wasn't, and I know the truth. But so that's why I've kind of stayed away from the Ashmore Estates, and we're just now going back on the 25th. And some former owners told me when I asked them to investigate the location after this happened, I told them we want to do a scientific investigation of the location. I was told that they would not let me do a scientific investigation of the location because they had to have all their people in there with me, and they had to have them in a room, like a monitoring room, where they monitor stuff. And I asked them why. I said, I'll put one of my guys in there so I know you guys aren't faking stuff. And when I told him I was going to put one of my guys in the room to verify he wasn't faking stuff or having something come over hidden speakers in the building, they told me they didn't want us to investigate because they never had a team that wanted to keep a controlled environment like that. And I said, well, I guess we're not every team. We want a controlled environment. We want to take a scientific approach to investigating this location. And we can't do that with 5 people hidden in this room, in this control room, not knowing what they're doing, not knowing where they're at, and not knowing what they're putting across hidden speakers or anything in that building. So if I can't keep track of everybody in that building, I'm not investigating it, because I want accountability, and I want to know where everybody's at in that site before, I can say that a noise we heard up on, the second floor is paranormal. So I've had issues with the Ashmore Estates for 2 or 3 different reasons that both involve hoaxing. So we're going back on the 25th. We'll see what happens. May not be after this little speech, but that's all I'm going to say, I guess, about the Ashmore Estates. But it's kind of like Willow's Weep. If there's a place that charges you to come in, it charges you a lot of money, and it's not, a place where thousands and thousands of people have died, they're probably just wanting your money. But, like places like Waverly Hills or these big hospitals where lots of people have died, that is haunted. That has the potential to have activity, residual activity of, a lot of energy in those areas, a lot of energy associated with those buildings. So, you can't really debunk buildings where there's been multiple deaths inside there, because sure, we may be there one time. I can't say a location, is it haunted, because I've investigated it 2 times. I'm not saying that either. I'm just saying we didn't find anything the 2 times we were there. But, but locations where there's been multiple deaths definitely have the potential to have activity, but don't sell it as something that's not. Don't say, come in here for $1,000. It's the most haunted place in the world. It's like, just say this place might be haunted. Come in and see what you can find. I hate these places that try to sell their ghost. They try to like, oh, well, this ghost over here, it's been seen in this room. I don't want to know about that. We'll find it if it's there. It's like, they try to sell things to you, and you got to be real careful with that, especially if you're an investigator out there. Be careful with these locations that charge, and make sure they're legit, and go at it with a grain of salt, and go in there with a skeptical yet open mind, and let the place show itself to you, because if not, you're going to be in for a big disappointment, or you're going to scare yourself. People can make a place haunted too. That's what I hate about a lot of these teams. I know I'm kind of going off here tonight, guys, but that's what I hate about a lot of these teams that are out there. They want to see a ghost so bad, they produce this activity, or they think something's happening, and they don't try to debunk it. It's like everything's a ghost. It's like, and so many places get mad now if you debunk their location and say, oh, we didn't find anything. Well, 100 other teams found something in there. Why didn't you guys find something? Well, we're not 100 other teams. Apparently, they get scared at a mouse running across some pans. So it's like, I don't know about some of this. We try to debunk, a lot of these locations we go into, and a lot of them are just bogus. A lot of them are hoaxes. They just want your money. Looking at some of the comments here. Luke Massey said that's what he loves about our team. Yeah, I promise you guys, if we experience activity, it's activity. It's not something we've faked, And I've interviewed people over the years too. I used to be on a radio talk show called Parastruck. I used to be on Haunted Voices Radio with Todd. Bates. I used to do that. And, we've interviewed a bunch of people over the years. We've even interviewed people that, ghost hunters, the TV show Ghost Hunters came in and they got caught faking stuff with fishing line. They would actually tie fishing line onto curtains and pull curtains with the fishing line so you couldn't see it on camera. I mean, that's why I don't do TV stuff. I mean, I completely stay away from the TV stuff. And I don't know if you guys know this, but and I can even show you guys this if I don't get in trouble. I think I may be able to show it to you. I'll bring it up on the next live feed or on the next talk show. But I got picked to be on the new Ghost Hunters. I went into the final rounds. I got picked to be on the Ghost Hunters TV show. The problem with that is I was 3 days from flying out to California, and I thought they were going to do a legitimate show on our team about paranormal activity, and they misled me the whole time. Didn't tell me it was TAPS. Didn't tell me it was going to be the new Ghost Hunter show. When they called and asked me to do this, I signed a contract with them and everything. I was under a 6-month contract. I couldn't talk. I couldn't get on here and do this. I had to be completely quiet about it. I couldn't tell anybody about it or anything. I was under a contract. I couldn't be on anything that involved publicity or anything. There was a whole bunch of stuff in this contract I had to sign, but the contract's up now, so I can talk about it. But I told them no. They contacted me, told me I had to be on the TAPS team. It was TAPS. They said, "What do you think about TAPS, and how have they ever helped you in the field of paranormal research?" And I said, "What are you talking about?" And they said, "How has TAPS helped you?" And I said, we were ghost hunting before the TV shows came out. They haven't really helped me at all. I was like, I'm not a big fan of them, to tell you the truth. And the producer got really pissed off. I mean, he got really pissed because we had went through, several Skype interviews. I'd been interviewed by producer after producer. I'm not going to name the company. It's the one that does Ghost Hunters. But yeah, the producers got so pissed that I told them, that I didn't want to involve with this. Once I found out, what was going on, they misled me the whole time that it was TAPS and this new Ghost Hunter show coming out, and then they put a couple other people on the show instead of me. So, but that's that story. And that's happened like more than once. So, and I do have that contract for anybody out there that doesn't believe what I'm talking about here. There's a few people that knew about this. Kind of just revealing this on the air right now. There was a couple, my close family and friends knew what was going on. And I actually had the opportunity I tried to get a couple of my other team members on it to go, and it didn't work out. I just didn't want, I was going to be gone like 6 weeks out of the year, filming back 2 weeks. And it was just, the schedule was going to be really weird. And I didn't want to give up my own team to sell out and fake stuff for TV. So that's where I'm at with that. But if you guys see it on TV, it's probably, you got to question it. I'm sorry. I watch those shows, to find locations. That's cool. The history of the locations and the places that are there are really cool. But it's like, you got to be extremely careful with those TV shows. Also when I was contacted by another show that was by, I think it was going to be on the Sci-Fi Channel. They asked me if I was willing to fake and exaggerate evidence, and I said absolutely not. We don't fake or exaggerate things. It's like, if you want to be on TV, you got to fake stuff. So that's why I don't do the TV stuff. I don't do this stuff. And I like to reveal the hoaxes out there, the bogus stuff that, people see and watch all the time, because that's not paranormal research and that's not ghost hunting. It's fake. So we're going to try to get some more callers here. I'm kind of going off here on the whole TV thing. TV thing. So But if you guys want to call in, we'll take your calls. It's like 9:14, so we're going to go to about 10 o'clock here tonight. If we got any other callers out there that just want to, tell us your story. Have you seen a ghost? Has anybody out there, had an experience with any type of ghost? I'm reading some of the comments, guys. It'd be cool to get a solid producer that doesn't want the BS and wants awesome, real findings. That would be a good TV show because then the viewers would know. Yeah, I know, Luke. That's exactly what we think. And, I thought that's what I had with this last one. I thought, man, this is going to be it. I found a producer that's wanting to make a show about actual investigators that, take a scientific approach and try to debunk stuff and don't fake it for TV, and it's like, it didn't happen. But TV, I guess you can't have entertainment. You can't have TV if you don't have ghosts and people running around being stupid. I guess people like that stuff. And it's like, I think that's part of the problem. They portray paranormal researchers, in a bad light because you got all these idiots out there just going crazy and faking stuff. Okay, I got a call. Missouri. Welcome to the Crawford County Ghost Hunters Show. This is Jason.
Good evening, Jason. It's Robbie Eagleton in St. Louis, honey. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
So enjoying all your live feeds, all your interview shows.
Thank you.
It's been a piece of normalcy or paranormalcy in abnormal time, and thank you so much. A couple of years ago, I had a friend who was killed in a motorcycle accident here in town, and he was in the hospital dying, and he was pronounced dead, and I came home, and as I came in the front door, the lights in my house started to burn out. The light bulbs were just burning out as I walked through the house, and I was walking through the dark. And I got into bed and was just lying there, and my dogs began to growl. I think that's always pretty significant when animals start to react to something. I don't know if
you might have to kill.
Agree with that.
You might have to kill your live feed in the background. I think you're having some back feed.
I just turned it off, sweetie.
Okay.
I turned it off, honey.
Okay. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So the dogs just went wild, and his name was Jason also, and he was very young and a very close friend of mine, like a foster son. And for days, the dogs walked the floors and growled, and the hackles stood up on their back. And this went on for days and days and days, and I went to the hospital to retrieve his belongings. And when I came home with his, I hate to say it, bloody helmet, motorcycle helmet, the house filled with smoke. Now, obviously, he was young. He was frightened. He died. He was riding along and died. So I don't think the boy knew he was dead. I think that he was caught in a limbo state somewhere.
Yeah.
And I had the helmet and some of his clothes in my hand, and the house filled with smoke. So I called the fire department. I said, we have no fire here. So gradually things just kept going on and going on and going on. And to tell you the truth, I wanted to communicate with him. I wanted to know what I could do to help him cross over.
Yeah.
Because he was obviously there in the house.
Sure.
It's a very, very old house, and a couple of 100 years old that I lived in at the time. And so I called a team out, much like yours, and it was called Prism St. Louis.
Okay.
And they came out with meters and equipment that you use that I had never seen before.
Right.
And they brought 7 people at 10 o'clock at night, and they stayed till 4 in the morning. And they made me sit outside because I kept whispering. I'm a German talker. I had to keep.
Yeah.
They said, "No, you can't whisper. You can't whisper. You have to go wait outside, Robbie. You're distracting us."
Right.
So I had to sit outside and wait. And about Oh, 3 hours into it, they came out and they got me, and they said, we brought a medium with us.
Mm-hmm.
And she wants to know, do you want him to go away? He's asking her, are you afraid? And I said, no, I'm not afraid. Tell her, no, I don't want him to go away. I want him to stay as long as he needs to stay.
Right.
In about 2 or 3 weeks, I suppose, they sent me the transcript and the findings of what they had found, the lowering of the temperature, how drastic the temperature would be in certain spots, the cold spots. They sent me pieces of voice recordings that I wasn't really sure, because when you're emotionally involved in something, you want to hear certain things. Sure. You're going to read into it all kinds of things. So you need a disinterested third party to decipher and to sort through. I guess you would agree with that.
Yes.
Sort through, because you have no vested interest in any of these people that you visit or any of these locations. You're not bound emotionally to them.
Right.
But anyway, I kept all their findings, and I did hear his voice, and I heard the voice of 2 other people come through who had died in the house. They'd been born and they died there. So I just wondered if it's easier for you. You were mentioning going in places cold, that you didn't want to be notified. You don't want to know.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to know too much. A little information is a dangerous thing.
Yeah.
Because can't you be more objective is what I guess I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, when we go into a location, I mean, we've done it both ways, historical research wise. I mean, sometimes we do, if we know we're only going to this place once, it's far away, like we're going to this place out in Tennessee, I'm going to do some historical research into it because I know I may not be going back soon. But if I'm investigating a location like you're talking about, sometimes I don't want that information. I don't want the names. I don't want the dates. I don't want anything because once you tell me a name, a date, or whatever, then that could be what I'm trying to. It's kind of like audio pareidolia almost. It's like that's what you want to hear. Exactly. So,
and they told me that too. They said, "Watch what you tell us. Mm-hmm. Please don't tell us too much. We don't want to know his name. We don't want to know the circumstances." Yeah. We just want to know this is somebody you love that is passed over in the last couple of months. And what I always want to know as I'm watching you, and I watch you avidly and sincerely and with deep respect for what you do.
Thank you.
Because who you are is so obvious. The kind of person you are is so obvious that subterfuge or showmanship or Hollywood TV is never there. Your ego is never involved. You leave your ego in the truck when you get there, and you take your equipment and you go. So I think that's your main draw. That's what people love about you. That's what people gravitate towards is your sincerity and your honesty, your openness, and your compassion, as Becky stated a while ago, your compassion for the people.
Yeah, well, thank you.
And I want to know, if I'm dead 300 years ago, why am I still earthbound enough to talk to you? Have I not moved on?
Right. Yeah. I don't know. We've asked that question too. Like, what if you died? Why are you still here? Is that what you're saying? 300 years.
Yeah.
I don't know. We've tried to research that a lot as to why. I think the whole. And this goes into. You go into a cemetery. Most investigators, most people are automatically drawn to the oldest part because it looks the creepiest. It may not be the most active location, but it looks the creepiest. So it's like a mental thing. It's like I think we found a lot of evidence of things happening, people dying, recently, where that event is stronger, and that activity, that residual activity, or the intelligent responses of those people that died more recently is stronger than somebody who died in the past, because I think it does kind of fizzle out over time. But why are there still locations haunted by, Abraham Lincoln and, things that happened a long time ago? That's something we've looked into, what makes a spirit or entity, if you want to look at it that way, so strong that they hang out for hundreds of years.
What's your opinion? As a man who studied this, what is your opinion?
I think it's just the energy that person possessed, maybe, or maybe just, how, I hate to say famous, because I think like when you get into things like Lincoln, the ghosts of Lincoln seen all over the place. I think some of that maybe used to be residual type activity where it's kind of like a movie replaying itself over time, and it's not actually an intelligent ghost or spirit. So you got to be careful with that too. When there's a huge amount of energy that's been absorbed into a location or an atmosphere over time, the atmosphere itself can kind of, I believe, absorb and take in those feelings, those emotions. Like Gettysburg, we're going to go to. A lot of people died on those battlefields. We may hear a gunshot out there, for instance. That doesn't mean it's an intelligent ghost or spirit. It may just be we're picking up the residual activity from a tragic event that took place there that time's kind of releasing. They report things too all over with different like rock formations, like limestone over at Alton, Illinois. A lot of the limestone, they think absorbs energy and absorbs emotion. It's just something you'd have to scientifically research too to see if stone can actually absorb any type of
haunted Alton. Yeah, Alton is rife with. It's full. It's just full. I've been there several times. It's almost tangible.
Oh yeah.
There's a terrible feeling there. I don't like to go over there.
Yeah.
It's full of.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's bouncing off the walls, if you know what I mean. It's
Sure.
just a feeling that you want to. It's just unpleasant. Let's put it that way. And it must be residual energy. It's just too full.
Yeah.
So I wondered what your opinion was of that.
Sorry to ask, but who was the guy? Who was he in relation to you? The one that passed away?
My foster child.
Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry.
He stayed quite some time. I couldn't get rid of him.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I didn't want him to go.
Sorry to hear that, by the way.
Well, thank you, honey. Thank you, sweetheart. He didn't want to leave. He was frightened. I think he didn't really know what had happened to him. And it was such a fresh death. It was such a fresh and a traumatic death that he vacillated between this world and the other world for a long time. So his energy, because he was a young 30-year-old healthy male, his energy was booming. And it would not leave the house.
Yeah.
I subsequently bought several properties in St. Louis to rehab because I would be drawn to them for some reason. And I noticed that the minute the workmen started to work on them, things were moving. I mean, moving. They would come in the morning and say, Miss Singleton, that there's some things that have moved. Our tools have moved upstairs. Were you playing with the screwdrivers? I said, no, I don't know a screwdriver from a wrench. I don't know what. And he said, one man told me, this happens all the time. When we go into a building to start to rehab it, it upsets the people who have lived there. They don't want their homes changed. And some of them don't know that that's not their home anymore.
Yeah, that's very...
So there's that netherworld, that world in between that is... it's very inviting, isn't it, to study that? Oh, yeah. Very.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so drawn into studying, this stuff, like even, life after death in general. I mean, I've always been interested in that subject, and like from even when I was young, I question things. It's like, is this the way this really happens? And I started studying ancient religions. Even I've studied every religion I could get my hands on, read every holy book I can get my hands on, to try to find.
Well, you know what? I looked on your bio, and you said anything you liked the author. What was his name? Tom. You said anything. You read anything by Tom? Is his name Tom Brown Jr.?
Yeah.
Or Tom.
Yep.
So I started reading some of his things on YouTube. I started listening.
Uh-huh.
And he's very metaphysical.
Oh, yeah.
With a religious overtone. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? An undercurrent of theology almost.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And
that's why I like his stuff.
Yes. As I'm reading, I thought, I got to see what's in Jason's mind. So I looked up some of his stuff and heard some of his recordings. And if any of your viewers have not heard them, it would behoove you to just Google his name, because things pop up. Little blurbs from his thoughts on the pandemic, for instance, are fascinating. I don't know if you know about them, but Google his name, viewers, because he's one of Jason's boys, and he thinks some good stuff. So at any rate, well, I won't take up any more of your time, because you've been more than patient with all of us, and more than kind to all of us, and we all thank you. I will be at the Lip Mansion. I am coming down there. It's 5 minutes from my house.
Awesome.
I go there all the time anyway.
Yeah.
If they have to get a crane and pull me up those steps, I'm coming.
Yeah, awesome.
I'm coming with a bag of gummy bears in my hand, and I'm sitting down and I'm watching.
Yeah.
So,
are you?
My love to you and Brianna and your families, and stay well.
Thank you.
Stay healthy. Be safe. We all love you very much and respect you, and thank you so much, honey.
Well, thank you. And if you need any more help with what you've got going on there, definitely let me know. We can come check that out too. Has that like settled down? Like your activity?
I moved 3 times, and he came with me every single time.
Yeah.
He came with me. Every house I left, I said, I'm leaving, Jason. I have to go. I have to go move houses, and he would come.
Yeah.
He would come, and the dogs would growl. He would come, and that's how I knew he was there. The dogs would alert me to him. And this last time that I moved, I brought another property, rehabbed it, and I moved, and he went on.
Well, that's good.
I think it had been 3 years, and he'd come to terms with what had happened to him.
Yeah.
And he was strong enough, perhaps.
Right.
I think when people have been quite ill for a long time, they do not respond if there's been, because it takes a tremendous amount of energy to respond to the earthlings.
Yeah.
To respond to people that are on this earth. Not everybody can move a headstone. Not everybody can speak into an EVP, because I know it must take a tremendous amount of energy and willpower to do that.
Sure. Yeah.
And when you've been sick or damaged or murdered or frightened, it's all you can do to make the transition to the other side. That's all. You're just making it as much best as you can, and you can't get back to do that. So I will let you know, and I will be there with gummy bears and bells on.
Awesome.
Just to get the list of y'all.
That sounds good. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too, sweetheart. Have a great summer, both of you.
All right. Thank you. You too.
All right, I'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Bye, honey.
Bye. All right. Awesome call, guys. Yeah, that's what I like to hear. I like to hear stories, and unfortunately, that was a sad event she was talking about. But, it's still, stuff she's talking about that people can't explain, that happened at 3 different places she moved to. So, I mean, it just validates, that our loved ones do stick with us. They hang on, they stay here with us, and they communicate with us, and that's what a ghost is. A ghost is your loved one. It's the person who's passed on. It's not this evil, dark, demonic thing that they chase on TV. It's our friends, it's our relatives, it's the people we know. And that's what makes this field so interesting, is to actually investigate some of these locations, and connect the dots and help family members. A person, a ghost or spirit may need to get a message out to a loved one, and then they move on. They may pass on. And regardless of what your religion is, regardless of what your belief is, sometimes you can't explain things with what you've been told all your life. Your religion may say, well, we either go here, we go there. But we know that to be different. Yeah, I don't know, because we're communicating with something. I'm not saying it's ghosts or spirits. We're communicating with something, with intelligence that tells us things across some of these devices we use. So, where are they coming from? Are they interdimensional beings? Are they coming from somewhere that some people call heaven or hell? I don't know. I can't answer that question. What I can answer is that we are communicating with some type of intelligent beings that are either still here on this earth or somehow communicating with us from somewhere else. And it makes me, you got to question some of the things that you've read all your life. But I'm kind of getting off topic. But if you guys want to call in, definitely get some more call-ins here. That was cool hearing from both of those individuals, both top fans that watch us all the time. Again, call-in lines are open again. If anybody wants to give me a call, we will. We've got like 30 minutes left, guys. Let's get a couple callers here. Yeah, Karen said it helps if you can just be open-minded and not frightened. And the mindset, that goes in, Karen's talking about open-minded and stuff. The mindset of an investigator going in to investigate locations also has a lot to do with the outcome of what they're going to find. And I've told people that a lot. And I've told other investigators that, you go in looking for evil, you go in looking for some dark demon-looking thing or whatever, you're going to produce that because that's your own mindset. That's your own thoughts and your inner feelings. You're not in there looking for ghosts and the truth. You're in there trying to produce something that you want to happen because, that's what appeals to you. So, but if you go in with an open mindset, skeptical yet open mind when you're doing a paranormal investigation or you're dealing with ghosts or spirits, that's the best way to approach it because you don't want to go in with a predetermined mindset that location's haunted, that it's the most evil place on the planet. You can't do that. You just gotta let the place show itself to you. But I don't know, we may or may not get any more callers here tonight, but definitely call in if you guys want. Don't be shy. There are no dumb questions either. If you guys want to call in, and ask some questions, definitely do that. Trying to read your comments right now. Laura says, my sister-in-law saw my grandmother's ghost looking over my nephew, and she knew my grandmother had passed away. Yeah, that happens a lot. You get what's called, visitation apparitions. When they just visit you, they're loved ones that cross over maybe or pass away. And you see them, right after they pass away, they come to tell you that, they have died or passed away. And that happens a lot. We get so many reports of that, of people experiencing, a grandmother looking over them. They wake up, see them, looking over their bed and find out they passed away, 30 minutes before that happened. So, it happens all the time. I personally, I had a dream about my grandparents, dying. I dreamed that my grandpa had died and my grandma was in the dream with me, and I was in the funeral home. I went up to the casket. Grandma took me up to the casket, showed me my grandpa in the casket, and she said he's passed away. And then she started to walk out the doors of the funeral home, and she looked at me and she says, and I'm going next really quick. And my grandpa died within a couple of weeks, and my grandma died very shortly after that, within the same year. So, I kind of had a premonition of that, but I truly believe that, things can come to you and tell you in your dreams too. Ghosts and spirits can visit you like that. And I've even had, people come to me in my dreams that have passed away, loved ones or different people while I'm dreaming. And I know, it's like, it's a visit. It's not an actual, just my mind playing tricks on me, because they tell me things. And, but yeah, definitely a common occurrence that people experience, a paranormal occurrence, experiencing the death of a loved one or afterwards. Now, when you talk about psychology and you get into the parapsychology aspect of this, a lot of your parapsychologists and everything will say, well, it's just the grieving process, and your mind wants to see them because you're still in that process of trying to handle the grief and handle the pain of them being gone. But I don't think so. There's too much scientific evidence, too much evidence pointing otherwise, too many experiences stating, and too many experiences people have had and shared with me that they do come back and visit and tell you goodbye one last time, but there are those scientists that argue it's just the process of you trying to cope and comprehend with a death. But since my grandma told me I was pregnant with my youngest in a dream. That's kind of crazy, Penny Stevens said. But yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff, kind of getting into dream stuff now. But dreams, I think that's another area of study, that it's kind of an area of paranormal research that we get into too. What do dreams mean? What's going on in your dreams? But they can definitely, I believe, communicate through dreams, especially loved ones. Try to read this. Ian Vickers says, "Hey, Jason." Brianna Elder, my grandma told me I was expecting a girl the night before she passed. I was only 10 weeks at the time. Yeah, that's pretty neat to hear accounts like that. Try to read all your messages here real quick. That's a very, very good question there. Cleora just asked, are little kids more able to communicate because they aren't so conditioned yet? I truly believe that. We're talking about kids and ghosts and spirits. Kids, a lot of times will report seeing or having an imaginary friend. Be careful with that. That could be a ghost or spirit hanging around with your kid because they're taught at a young age, they don't have that mental blocker that we have on us, because at young, when they're young, they believe anything, they're open-minded. But as time goes on, they're just completely drilled in their head of ghosts aren't real, ghosts don't exist, ghosts aren't real. And you kind of form this mental blocker. And it's sort of the same principle when you have a camera. If I take a picture with a digital camera, a 35 millimeter camera, that camera doesn't have a mind. It just takes a picture of what's actually there. And since, it doesn't have the brainwashing, I guess, put into it to where, it can't see that. It will see whatever's there and take a picture of it. It's kind of the way our mind works. It's like, if there's a ghost or spirit there, but I've been told all my life they don't exist, I can mentally block that out. And I think that's what happens to kids over time. As they get older, they lose that ability to see, sense, and hear things because, it's just been drilled that ghosts aren't real to them. And but there's been so many kids that have imaginary friends that talk about seeing and hearing, people like by their bed, and they describe their dead grandparents, maybe somebody that died previously in the home. And we have had multiple accounts where a kid has actually either, described or pointed out a picture of his imaginary friend, and it be a person who died in the home, previous to the person moving in there. So, just a lot of crazy things with kids in the paranormal, them definitely being able to sense and see things that we can't, just because they're innocent. They don't know any different. It's like, which, Penny says, I guess animals are kind of the same way in that respect. And cats, cats will follow invisible things. They'll, paw at things and chase things that aren't there. There may be something there. There's been video documentation of cats chasing. Now, I don't like orbs. I see most orbs are dust particles, but there are what we call unexplained light anomalies that illuminate on their own. And when they have their own illumination source and they fly around and illuminate, and they're not dust particles, they have intelligence. I've seen videos of cats chasing these unexplained light sources that aren't dust particles because the cat is chasing it. You can see it on infrared video that it's an illuminating light. So, they see things. And if you ever shine a laser light, a cat and a dog chase a laser beam. It's the same thing, you know, that light's there, you just can't see it. So they go nuts sometimes, chasing, I think, paranormal anomalies that we can't see. Luke Massey said I'd be out if something was standing at the end of my bed. Yeah. I got a few stories on that. Tiffany says, after my mother passed, I woke up to get my daughter up for school, and I came downstairs, and the stereo under our cabinet turned on by itself and was playing There's No Place Like Home for the holidays. This was in April, and the CD hadn't been played since December. I hadn't used the radio for weeks. Yeah, that's definitely a sign, I think, Tiffany. That's really weird you say that, because I had a very, very similar event when my mom passed away. So, I mean, that's cool to hear. But yeah, that's definitely probably her giving you a sign, because when my mom passed away, I had basically the same thing happen. A radio started playing in my bedroom. My radio turned on and started playing one of her favorite songs, and it happened to be Haunted House Cafe. It was playing in my room, so like it was really weird. It was playing a song, and the radio was completely off. And I think that was her, maybe, you know. But I've had similar events take place like that, so that's cool to hear. Trying to read all your comments, but remember, guys, phone lines are open. If you want to call, we still got about 15 minutes left in the show. It's been pretty cool so far. I like hearing you guys' stuff, you know, your guys' experiences and the things that's happened to you. It's neat watching the chat here too, to see, you know, all the stuff you guys are telling that's happened to you, and the, you know, kind of on the paranormal side, whether it be with a loved one or dreams. And again, call-in line is 1-312-572-9811. Make sure you get that one in front of it. Sometimes it doesn't go through if you don't. So, but I definitely want to hear maybe one more caller if I get anybody out there. If not, we'll end it right at 10 here in a minute. Try to go back through your comments, make sure I didn't miss any questions or anything from you guys out there. Okay. But yeah, next week we're going to have another show. I don't know if anybody else is going to call in here, but next week on our show, definitely tune back in next Sunday. You know, we're going to keep doing this show every Sunday. We're going to have a more guests. Try to look at my calendar here, see who all we got coming up. 31st, let's see. But the weekend of June, be Sunday, June the 7th, that show, that's going to be pretty awesome, because I'm going to be getting back from Tennessee, the trip over there to the Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary and the Old South Pittsburgh Hospital. So that's going to be awesome on that show, because we're going to try to put up, you know, any evidence or a lot of pictures, you know, we take from the investigations we do in Tennessee when I'm leaving for June here. So definitely tune in to that show. That's going to be awesome. But we're going to be doing these every Sunday. Dickerson was going to co-host with me tonight. He is in Florida right now. I don't know if he's out there watching, but he'll be on here with me as much as we can. And I want to do a lot of educational stuff too. If you guys out there, if you want to know something in particular, education-wise, you know, how to use a certain piece of equipment, you know, about, you know, electronic voice phenomena. And we're going to do educational talk shows too, just regarding electronic voice phenomena, photography. We're going to get into all the mislabeled stuff in photography and paranormal research, where people are labeling all this stuff as paranormal anomalies when it's not. So that's going to be some interesting shows. And we're going to get some Bigfoot guys on here. I don't know if there's anybody out there that likes the cryptid stuff or the Bigfoot and Sasquatch type stuff, but we are going to do some shows regarding that, which is going to be pretty cool. We're going to talk about the Bigfoot sightings and encounters that have taken place in our area and the ones that we've been called to. Believe it or not, we've been called to several. So we will talk about all that on future shows. We're going to do gear reviews and checking comments here. All right, got my comment feedback up. Not sure I'm trying to read Michael's question there. Do you believe after they pass, you can hear sounds of what they were working on when they were alive? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Michael, but yeah, I mean, I've heard residual sounds, if that's what you mean. Like, I mean, where guys died in a car wreck, there's been reports of people hearing the car come to like a halt or brakes and stuff and kind of recreating that event that took place. That would be like a residual type paranormal occurrence, but I'm not sure what you mean by that. Luke Massey says, you guys look at Polaroid cameras ever? We have used Polaroid cameras back in the day. They aren't real good at getting results, it seems like. But yeah, we have used Polaroid cameras, and we use those previous to a lot of the newer digital cameras that came out, because back in the day, we didn't have the digital cameras to use, so we started out using 35 millimeter cameras. And the cool thing about 35 millimeter is you have the film there. With digital nowadays, you really don't have any proof that digital can be manipulated and altered in so many ways that 35 millimeter film is just awesome, because you got the film right there. I mean, you can still alter it and mess with it, but it's a lot easier to prove that you captured that anomaly with 35 millimeter, in my opinion, than the new digital stuff. But yeah, we've used Polaroid, we've used 35 millimeter, we've used every type of camera, probably that's known, and some that aren't. We tried full spectrum cameras, infrared cameras, infrared film. We've done all kinds of stuff regarding photography and trying to capture paranormal anomalies on film. Jen says, IR, I don't know what that means. On the fire department and the ambulance service, has anyone passed and then came back to talk to you? Oh my, that could be another 20-minute show, Jen. That's a very good question. You should ask that when you're on the line there. But Jen had the question. That's a very good question. And I'm gonna answer this. And if I don't have any other interesting ones, we'll probably end it at that. But yeah, she says I'm on the fire department and EMT. I've been to medical calls and all that. I think she's asking if I've ever had anybody pass that came back to talk to me, I believe is what she's asking. And yes, that's I've had some weird stuff happen. I don't even know where to start with this, but yeah, I responded to a murder. Well, I didn't know it was a murder at the time. They toned us out, and I went there, and the lady had been murdered, and she was shot in the head, unfortunately. And I didn't know that at the time. I didn't get the little memo on the pager. There was a gun involved. They just said I just heard it was a medical response. So I went up there, and yeah, an individual had been shot in the head with a 9mm. I walked in, and she was sitting right there on the floor, and to my right when I came in the house. And I got out of there. I seen what was going on. Law enforcement, was there about the same time. Got there, started clearing the house. I got out of there. But it's like, I knew the lady. She'd been on my haunted tours. She'd actually joked around with us on our haunted tours, came over and scared people with a mask, and all this stuff. And I had some incidents with that where I truly believe, because she knew me, and I was pretty much one of the first ones there, that she connected with me and followed me because I don't think it was just a psychological thing where I was messed up over it or anything. I actually believe she was trying to get my attention after that event because it ended up being a murder, unfortunately. So they have caught the people who have done it now, thank goodness. But for a long time, I was having some events take place where I would wake up and see this lady, standing at the end of my bed. She had followed me. We got her name on all of our ghost boxes every time we were in the area. Her name repeatedly came across our Paratech device. There's a building right across from where it happened that is actually on our haunted tour route, and she would communicate through ghost boxes, say her name over it as it happened, which was kind of disturbing to me. I mean, because I was there, it was just a lot of weird stuff happened regarding that. I truly believe that, yes, she followed me because I was on scene at that incident and tried to communicate with me. I still don't know exactly what she wants me to communicate because, I know her daughters also. So I don't want to mention many names, but it was just a weird event that took place. And I truly didn't believe that a ghost or spirit could follow or attach to a person until that event because I'm real scientific based. I want to be skeptical and debunk as many things as I can, but I can't debunk some of the events that took place to me regarding that event. There's just still things that I can't explain regarding that event. So, yeah, I do think they can. I think they can follow you and attach to you. Yeah, and I don't know how to explain some of the events. Like I say, there were just so many things that was tied to that event. Her name coming across all our stuff, but yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that. But yeah, that was a very good question, and it happens. I think it happens more than people talk about, especially first responders that are into this field of research. That are spiritually aware of stuff around them and ghosts and spirits. I think first responders, fire, EMS, police officers that also are paranormal investigators. I'm sure they have experienced similar events to this happening. And I think they were wanting to make a TV show regarding this, even regarding events maybe they already did. But I was contacted about that too. They were making a paranormal first responder show where it was all about events regarding things that had happened to first responders and being followed by ghosts or had weird experiences with that type of stuff. But yeah, I've had some crazy stuff happen over the years regarding that. But and I think some other people have too, and I've talked to other people, other EMTs even, that have had paranormal experiences where they wake up and they see somebody that they just worked on standing at the end, that passed away, standing at the end of their bed or something. So I think they do follow people. Yeah. Penny must know who we're talking about, but like I said, I'm not going to mention any names on the air. But yeah, I think they definitely follow people and have connections to some people. So, but that looks like we're getting right at the 10 o'clock mark, guys. And Laura says, thank you for your team showing us the real side of paranormal investigations. Thank you, Laura. I appreciate it. I like showing you guys, the truth behind what happens and, the real stuff and stuff I can't explain. I try to debunk things. I try to explain things, but there are some things in this world, unfortunately, I just can't explain. And it could be a paranormal occurrence or, what we consider to be a ghost. So, yeah, Karen said, I think she had confidence and trust in you. Yeah, that could be. Definitely. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Like I say, we're getting at 10 o'clock mark. I like to cut them off around 2 hours. Also, we got a guest that's really interesting, and telling us some good stories. Like Dale that night we went over, that was an awesome night because Heck, I think we went 4 hours. I could have went 6 hours, listening to him. So, but definitely, guys, tune back in next Sunday, same time, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. We'll have another show, and the call-in lines will probably be open again. Hopefully, we'll have a co-host with us. It'll either be Jason Dickerson or Ben Irvin if he can get off. And then we're also going to have a special guest coming up on the next show. And I'm going to announce that closer to time so you guys can kind of wonder who that's going to be. But it's going to be an awesome show. So tune back in next weekend, same time. And I'm not sure if we'll be doing any investigations between now and then or not. But if we do, we will try to go live if we can. And definitely show you guys in the process and everything we do. So thank you guys for watching the Crawford County, Illinois Ghost Hunter Society. This has been talk show episode number 4. Again, visit our website, crawfordcountyghosthunters.org. You can email us at illinoishauntings@gmail.com. Yeah, thank all you guys, all your thanks coming through. Yeah, thank you guys. I love hearing you guys and you guys calling in, made the show. That's awesome. And I'm glad you guys like what we do. So Facebook, you can check our Facebook out, Crawford County Ghost Hunters, YouTube at Crawford County Ghost Hunters, and our Instagram at Crawford County Ghost Hunters. So have a good night, everyone. It's been fun.